And the winner is, ladies, help me out.
Just a little bit for people. Tupac is in jail. Now, for those that may not know, the previous year, Tupac got into it with Tribe Called Quest because they were performing, and somehow it got messed up in the performer, the engineers or whatever. They start putting his song. They put his song "Out on Bail" that's on the Thug Life album on while they're performing, and so he just runs out, start doing the song "Out on Bail," and then so Q-Tip and them thought that he was like just trying to bum rush their performance, but that's not what happened. The DJ or whoever it was just start playing his music. So fast forward, that tension is there already, everybody, right, in this room from the previous year. We also have the Suge Diddy situation that has already been brewing. I mean, there's 30 different million documentaries on it. We don't need to explain, what was going on with them. We also have another layer of it where you have MC8 and DJ Quick have their beef going on at the same time, where DJ Quick does Dollars and Cents and is directly talking. MC8 is sitting in the crowd for those people that are in the crowd. So I know we talk about the Kendrick, Drake, and all these different beefs. What if Kendrick Lamar did Not Like Us and Drake was in the fourth row? And he's walking over to him doing that dance, the Kendrick Lamar dance.
Right. Oh, it'd be a problem. It'd be a problem.
Death Row does a whole thing with that. So, and there's a lot of different things with the Woo and Onyx and all kind of different things going on. But all these things are happening at the same time. And Salt and Pepper and Kid and Play are presenting Best New Artist at the Source Awards. And they open it up. I can't remember who else was nominated. Let me
tell people who are nominated.
Yeah. Let's see, because I know they have it listed. Yep.
I want to say it may have been Biggie. It could have. I think it was Biggie, OutKast.
New Artist of the Year. It was Group. New Artist of the Year Group.
Okay, Group.
OutKast, Bone Thugs, Ill Al Scratch, and Smith and Wesson.
Yeah. I mean, who you gonna take? You got to take OutKast.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, who do you? Because so and then this is going to go into our conversation. So then, Kid and Play and just Kid. It wasn't Kid and Play. It was just Kid.
Yep, just Kid.
And Salt and Pepper. They name them off, and then they open the thing, and they go, OutKast.
Right.
And the crowd starts booing. Now, question for you, Kyle, because this is, as we go into this before we talk about what Andre's statement was, who do you think the crowd wanted to win this? Or were they just riled up in general from because Suge did his thing before they're saying that of, if you want to sign to Death Row, do you think they were just riled up? Or do you think they really didn't think that OutKast should have won this award?
Probably both. As somebody who was outside when this happened, and I didn't see it live, but I saw it, like a couple of days later.
It came on at midnight here in St. Louis, maybe a week or two after.
Exactly. We heard, and that was the thing. Like live stuff didn't get played live, unless you were the American Music Awards or the Grammys. But Black people stuff now we had that was tape delay. But it was probably a little bit of both. I think the crowd really didn't want them to win, and what OutKast represented was the South. I mean, they were Southern, they were country, and they were unapologetically country. And they were from a place in Atlanta where Atlanta wasn't the Atlanta that we know of today, as far as its residents in hip hop. I mean, you can make a case that Atlanta has dominated hip hop and hip hop culture probably for the better part of the last 20 years. Well, it doesn't happen or doesn't start until Andre gets on the stage and says what he says, and we'll get to that in a second. But it could have been anybody, because you listed who all was up for the award.
Do they think Bone should have won? I mean, that's the Bone had an amazing year that year too.
They
but I think they would have booed Bone.
They probably, they might have gave Bone some slack because Bone. Well, no, I take that back, because Bone was connected to Easy.
Yeah.
So probably not. So really,
what's in there?
Probably Smith and West. But here's the thing: you got to go off the albums. OutKast had the better album of Bone Smith and Wesson and whoever else you mentioned, Ill Out Scratch. That's a throw in. So it's like,
I mean, they were novel. I mean, they were cool for the time. Like,
exactly.
Younger people, if y'all go listen back to it, they had Creep with Me and
Where My Homies.
Yeah, and the other joint with Brian McKnight, I'll Take Her.
Those
only 2 joints. And they had the song on Don't Shut Down on the Player on New Jersey Drive. Those are the only 3 songs that any hip hop head know. They don't know anything about the rest of the songs on the album. And that's no disrespect to Ill Out Scratch.
No disrespect.
Most people don't have 3 hits.
No. And so, I mean, OutKast had Southern Playlist at Cadillac Music, which was their debut album, came out in 1994. And that album went platinum. That album, I think it got 4.5 mics, I think, initially. And so, no, they should have won easily, really. I mean, like, it's not even a question. But the fact that they were from the South, probably, I would venture to say that probably, I don't know, 90% of the people in there probably never heard them before, heard them rap or heard the album before. So, they were going to boo anything that wasn't Brooklyn or Harlem or any. So, they were going to boo anybody that wasn't from New York, pretty much.
So, they get up there. I mean, they so the whole Dungeon family comes up there. You got Goody, OutKast. I think even some of the organized noise was up on the stage too. They just brought it. All the people that came from Atlanta came as one block up on the stage. And did Big Boy say anything? No, Big Boy.
Big Boy spoke first, and then he threw it to Dre.
Right, and Dre go, and I'm gonna plug this in for people to peep it. But he says the South got something to say.
Yeah.
He's like, all y'all but he was like, y'all non-listeners. He said, I got a demo tape.
And nobody want to hear it.
And nobody want to listen to it here. But I let y'all know one thing, the South got something to say.
He said they're closed-minded folks.
Yep.
He says, like, I got a demo and nobody want to hear it, but the South got something to say. And even when you listen to that part, you can hear he's nervous. Like, he's nervous, and there's a certain tremble in his voice. It's because, like, he's getting booed. Like, even as they have the microphone, they weren't really booing as much with Big Boy, but they still had got. And here's the thing: I don't care if you're an athlete, I don't care if you're an entertainer. Nobody wants to get booed. You kind of expect if you're on the opposing team and you're in another person's arena or gym or whatever the case may be, you expect to get booed, but nobody wants to get booed. And so to be at an award show where you're being recognized by your peers as one of the best, or at least the best upcoming new hip hop group. Yeah, I mean, like, no, and for MCs like Andre and Big Boy, New York was the Mecca. Like, you wanted to, and particularly from the South, and I say this as a Southern hip hop fan, a fan of hip hop who grew up in the South, you wanted the respect in the South. And then once you got the respect in the South, you wanted the respect of New York. Every MC wanted that because New York was slow to give Southern MCs their respect. And that played out over time. And so, like, to get up there and get booed, like, it was embarrassing. And so you can hear the nervousness in his voice. You can hear the trepidation because, like you said, if you watch that whole Source Awards, I mean, like, it's a miracle that nobody died that night.
No, it's so many storylines going on.
So many storylines. And I mean, like, it could not have happened in in 2025 like that. Like, there would have been cell phone cameras. There would have been, people getting knocked out. There would have been stuff on World Star. It had just been everywhere. But I mean, I felt for Andre because he was representing OutKast. He was representing his family. He was representing the Dungeon family. He was representing Atlanta. And to get up there and get booed, it was like a slap in the face.
It was just like, wow. Like, they may have already known that people was feeling that type of way from just people. Because I saw an interview with Benzino, and I guess he claims that Andre's talking to him.
No, come on, man. Benzino is reaching.
Yeah, that's what he said, that because I guess they wanted to give it 5 mics, and he wanted to knock it down to 4.5 or something like that.
Okay, I can believe that. I can,
because I 100% believe that.
Yeah, I can believe that because, like, there were no Southern
getting 4 mics back then.
I mean, there was no Southern rappers getting 5 mics. I mean, 5 mics was five mics at that particular time in hip hop was something that was coveted. I mean, like, I remember, and I'm sure you remember.
Yeah,
when the rumors came out, if there was rumored that you were getting 5 mics, the Source magazine would get a bomb threat. Like people literally would call the Source magazine and say, "Hey, we're gonna blow up your building," because like the 5 mic stuff was unprecedented. Like that and it always sparked huge debates as to how great an album was or whatever. Nobody used the word classic at the time, but yeah, in the late 90s, late 80s to mid 90s. Yeah, I mean, if you got 5 mics, you was saying something. And you know, they got 4.5, and to get 4.5 on your debut album, that's saying a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so the Source redid. You remember in 2002 they went back and like posthumously gave 5 mics out to people,
right? Which was whack.
Which is whack. So originally there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 original albums that received 5 mics in the first run.
Right.
In their first run.
And Lil Kim shouldn't be on there, but that's another story.
Look. Okay.
That's another story for another day.
That's the only blemish on there where I'm like, how's Lil Kim's on?
I mean, I without looking at the list, I know Bun B got 5 for Trill. And I love Bun B. That's not a 5 mic album. It might be 4.5.
You know what? Let's stop here. Everything up to the Fix is an original, I think, 5 micer. Like up to the Scarface, the Fix is like under the normal regime.
Exactly. Just my personal opinion, and it's an unpopular opinion. I don't think that Kanye album's a 5 mic album, but that's, you know, people love my Twisted Dark Fantasy. I just couldn't get into it. It's a personal thing. I went back and listened to it a couple of times. I was like, yeah, I could see where people like it. I could see why they like it. I didn't like it enough to give it 5 mics. I gave it 4, but that's just me.
Yeah, so the last one under the old regime before 2002, where they redid all the mics, there's only 14.
Okay,
that have gotten 5.
That makes sense. That makes sense. But I mean,
only 2 artists have. Only one artist has been on there twice. Nas.
Yep.
For Illmatic and Stillmatic.
Yep.
He's the only artist to have 2 5 mic albums.
And so, you know, it's interesting, man. So, I mean, all of that in the backdrop. And again, OutKast is this is their first album. They're trying to make it, and they're bubbling, you know, in the South, obviously. And they just wanted acceptance from, you know, their peers in
the Midwest too. In the Midwest,
that too. Oh, no question. New York was the last. I mean, at that particular time in hip hop, like you could bubble.
What if DLC never got into that car accident? What if Ice Cube didn't leave NWA? What if the Game never leaves G Unit? What if Teddy Riley never moves to Virginia? What if we got that J. Cole and Kendrick album? What if the RZA would have never had that flood? How would the hip hop world sound today? Welcome to Hip Hop What Ifs, the podcast where we dive into the biggest what could have beens in hip hop history. From iconic album delays to game-changing partnerships that never happened. We reimagine the culture we love and explore its alternative paths. And you are now at Hip Hop What Ifs.